Our next guest, Congressman Buill Huizenga from West Michigan. And Congressman, first of all, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm well.
Hey, thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Joanne. Thank you.
So let's start with the thing that everybody's talking about, the broken border, the crisis there. I talked to one of your colleagues here yesterday morning, Jim Bridenstine from Oklahoma, who said he has finally had a chance to see inside Fort Sill, where he was denied access a week or two ago, and said it's everything that he was concerned about. Conditions are poor. Most of the people he's seeing, he said, are certainly older than, they're not kids, he said, they're teenagers. And some of them, he said, are clearly beyond 17, but when they arrive at the border and say, hey, I'm 17, and no proof of anything, and they stay, and he said it's a lot more concerning than he first thought. And now we know that there's efforts underway to bring a lot of these minors, illegal minors, to Michigan. And there's a lot of finger-pointing going on, but, I don't see a lot of action anywhere. My concern is for the state of Michigan, number one, cities like Vassar and Grand Rapids, where we have learned that these illegal minors are being taken in Grand Rapids, Kent County. They're already there at Bethany Christian Services. And I guess my question to you, Congressman, is what are we going to do about it, if anything?
Yeah, well, in fact, the House has had a border security work group that has been down to Central America, El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. Kay Granger is the head of that. She's from Texas. They are coming up with a series of recommendations, and in fact, there's a discussion of this week yet a bill being dropped by Thursday, and us voting on it as soon as next week. That would do a series of things and try to alleviate this, because we have to. I mean, this is a crisis beyond all crisis, especially for those local governments and the people down along the border. And we've got to get a handle on this. I was pleased to see that there was a very public charter flight that brought a number of the families back to Central America. I believe it was to Honduras. And that's the kind of message that has to get out, that you're not going to just get your permiso, your permission slip, as soon as you cross the border and be able to stay here without any questions asked.
There's also legislation, as we understand it, that not only some border states, but also all states out there, including Michigan, that have to, put out money to house the children, that they be reimbursed as well. What can we do here at the state level, if anything, to try to keep the kids out, or is that a foregone conclusion at this point?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure that everybody knows the answer. You've got some folks at the state level saying, "Look, we're not going to provide any of those normal services that we would from the state level." Others are trying to say, "Hey, can we get reimbursed?" And the challenge in this whole thing is there was a reason why this 08 law was passed, because there was abuses that were happening with these kids. The problem is that has become this loophole that has been driving literally busloads through it, and we've got to tackle this at the federal level. This is a federal responsibility, and it's not fair to local sheriffs. It's not fair to states. We have to deal with this on the federal level. And I think there's a lot of us here that are willing to do that. The question is this administration and this White House going to be interested in trying to really tackle it, or do they want to keep the green light up and keep having people come?
Congressman Buill Huizenga on the line with us on this Wednesday morning. And Congressman, from what I was reading yesterday, the Democrats who a week ago said, yes, we need to fix this problem, have apparently changed their mind. And the funny thing about this, here's an administration and a group of Democrats who have blamed George W. Bush from everything they can imagine under the sun. Well, here's something that he did sign. Now, it has unintended consequences, but, fair enough, it's his fault. He signed this legislation about a month before he left office in December of 2008. And here's a chance for Barack Obama to step up and say, here's a mess of George W. Bush's I am fixing. We're going to get these unintended consequences taken care of. And now they say, there's no real reason to change any of this law. It's okay for now. We'll take a look at it. Take a look at it, they say, as tens of thousands come over the border. Based on the math I did yesterday, just the kids that have come since last October, minors, not really kids, the minors that have come since last October, about $2.5 million a day, being conservative on what it's costing us to have them here. $2.5 million a day. I mean, do we have that kind of extra cash?
No. That's the easiest question to answer, because we don't have extra cash for anything these days. And I think ultimately, Steve, it goes to what is the motivation of the administration. And I don't believe that they really want to solve this, certainly not in the way that most Americans want to solve it. And that is, as you said, literally costing us a huge amount, but it's also costing us internationally our standing. We have so many mixed messages that this administration sends, and no wonder our allies and our friends around the world are confused.
We're on the line this morning with Congressman Buill Huizenga, a Republican from Holland. I understand that you have introduced an amendment that would actually cut money from the IRS budget. Why fund it at all?
Yeah, that's a great question. Specifically, what my amendment did was to go after the enforcement arm. All right, and this one of the things that absolutely incensed me, and as you all know, people in Michigan are very compassionate, and I have it in my own church, my own communities, where we've got a tremendous number of adoptive families. And the enforcement arm, aside from in addition to going after all these conservative groups and that kind of thing, this is just stunning to me. 69% of all adoptive families who claim the adoption tax credit were audited. 69% of them. And of all those people that were audited, 1.5% of them had their claim denied. All right, so we're talking about a fraction of a sliver of the people who do their tax returns. Yet 3.5% of all of the work days from the IRS staff went to go after those people. Doesn't that sound like harassment to you?
It sounds like a problem. Congressman, I wish we had more time. Next time, we've got to book you for more time. That's just the way. We need you for a little longer conversation in the future, Congressman.
All right, sounds good.
All right, appreciate it. Congressman Buill Huizenga from West Michigan.